Right. So RDPs. Basically, what we want to do with these, or the reason we use these, and the reasons I want to go through these with you, so that you get a better grasp of what they're for and how your computer works. Okay. Because a lot of the time we use our computers and it's just kind of jump in, it switches on, and then when the computer tells us, we come back up. But yeah, using an RDP is a good way of working out why that computer works that way. Okay, so these are really simple. Have you all used these before?
When I went through the class.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we'll go through this quite quickly, if you can see. Actually, what we'll do. Hold on.
I've split my screen between Zoom and my document here.
Right. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. So, first thing I'd like you guys to do is on your bit of paper, I just want you to draw a dive profile for us. That's a nice square dive profile. Looks like this. Yeah. Hopefully a bit straighter than I managed on the pad. Now, so this is the profile of our dive. At the moment, we are in A. We're always in pressure group A. So it's on your tables, you'll see we've got letters for all the different pressure groups running down the side. We are always in pressure group A. That's just the natural amount of gas that's been absorbed by our body, just by being on Earth, okay? As we go deeper, as we go down on our dive, the pressure increases, so every cell in our body absorbs more nitrogen. And the amount of time we spend down there also increases the amount of time, because obviously it's not just going down to the depth, but the amount of time allows the cells to absorb nitrogen. And if we get too much nitrogen in our system, as we come up again, they can cause the formation of little bubbles of nitrogen anywhere in our body, really. I mean, it can happen in your bloodstream, it can happen in your skin. It's actually quite common, well, not common, but the most common form of it is in the skin. I mean, it can happen in bones, it can happen in your blood, it can happen in your muscles, it can happen in your brain, it can happen in your central nervous system. So it can happen anywhere in your body. Obviously, in the skin, it's not too bad. I mean, it's still not good by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not too bad when you compare it to, say, it happening in your central nervous system, in which case it's going to start putting pressure. That bubble is going to put pressure on your nerves. Say it happens in your blood, it can go through and it can get caught in an artery, stop an artery working properly, or a valve working properly, or get caught in the heart, stop it working properly. So yeah, there's lots of things that can be quite bad. So it is important that we do keep a track of it. And this was the first, well, it's not the first way, but it was the first way for non-military divers. Before you had one of these, an RDP made by PADI, everybody used to use military divers tables, which is all well and good if you're a military diver. I'm quite certain that all of us would quite easily walk through the basic fitness requirements for entering the military nowadays, wouldn't we? We're all fit enough to do that. But yeah, so the original tables were designed for fit young men. So they were great as a guide, but for recreational diving, we needed something designed for people who aren't super fit and just want to dive for fun and just take it easy and dive on holiday. So as PADI came up with this, the RDP. Okay. Now, the way we use it, at the top corner here, we've got start. We go along and we've got the depths. Okay. We always round up. So let's say we were going to 19 meters. We actually round up to 20 on here because there isn't a 19. So we're going to go to 19 meters. What we do here is we write 19. Okay, that's our depth. And we're going to spend 20 minutes there. No, 25 minutes. So as we put 25 down here. It's 25 minutes there. And then we're going to come up and we're going to do a 3-minute safety stop. All right. So that gives us a total time of 28 minutes. Okay. So it's on the table. First thing we do is we come along here and we find 20. Oh, a little bit too far. There we go. Should be around about there. And then we're going to go down and we're going to find 28.
Okay.
28. Right. Okay. So what pressure group letter does that put us in?
L.
L. Okay. So that's L. That's our pressure group when we finish that dive. Okay. Now, if we're just going to do the one dive during the day, that's perfectly fine. We're within all our limits and everything. If we're going to do a second dive, we're going to need to draw another dive in here. So it's just down here. Okay, this one. Somebody give me a depth. What depth should we do?
Say 16.
14.
Should be
16.
Should be shallower than the first one.
Yeah. 16. And how long do we want to spend down at 16 meters? How long are we going to spend on this dive?
I should be able to stay. How about 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Does that include the safety stop or
No.
no?
So that'd be 30 and then another 3.
30 there. And then another 3 here. All right. Okay. But first of all, we're going to spend some bit of time on the surface as we can get our cylinder filled. There's no queue, so we're going to say we're going to spend 45 minutes on the surface between the two dives. Long enough to get your cylinder filled, have a cup of tea. There we go. Right, so now we go back to our table. We find L, and we're going to go to table 2, which is this table here. Okay, we've got L. We're going to follow L across until we find 45. Right, so it should be a 43. Yeah, 43 to 50. Okay, so we're looking for the numbers either side of it. So it's 45 to 50, which then puts us
Pressure group E.
Pressure group E. Let me just. Yep. All right, so pressure group E. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to work out our residual nitrogen. So what I want you to do is I want you to down here just write rat like this. R A T. And just put a line across here. Like so. Right, so it's always handy just to write it out like this. That's why I'm drawing this like this. It is the simplest way to do it. You can do it without pen and paper, just using the cards, but it's so much easier like this, and it's so much easier to actually just write the rat. Right, so the rat stands for residual, actual, and total. So residual is how much we have left, or how much residual nitrogen we have left. Well, A stands for actual amount of time that we're going to be spending down there, so that will be 33. So we can actually put that in now. 33, which comes from 30 plus the 3 minutes for the safety stop. All right, now we need to find out our residual. What we do here is we've got E, and we know we're going to 16 meters. So on table 3, which is on the back, or on the second sheet I sent you, okay, we're going to find 16 down this side. I'm going to slide across here until in the white box. If you notice, each of these has white and blue boxes for each letter and depth. So we're going to find 16 and see where it crosses with E.
21.
21 and 51, yeah? Yeah, everybody found that, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, so the number we want there is the 21. So we're going to put that in here as our residual nitrogen time. Okay, which gives us a grand total of 54. Which is our total. All right, okay, so now that we've got our total bottom time, we know how deep we're going. We've taken into consideration the extra nitrogen from our first dive. So as we go back to table 1, we find 16, which is our depth. And then we go down until we find 54.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it, S,
Yes. Yep.
because we've rounded up to err on the side of caution. S, or a 5. Yeah. Right, okay, so are we all happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. So this gives you more of an idea of what's happening when we dive with our dive computers, because you can see kind of where the calculations are doing. What the difference between a table and your dive computers is basically that with a table we're going down and across and up. With a dive computer, because it can sample as we're going all the way around, it's going to be more of a that. So it's just sampling all the way down and all the way back up again. So it's getting a much more accurate record of our depths and times. And what that tends to do is that tends to, instead of being 30 minutes at 16 meters, it'll be worked out as like the first 20 seconds at 2 meters, next 20 seconds at 6 meters, and so on all the way down, and then maybe 10 minutes at 16 meters in total, and then we slowly start making our way up. So it becomes a much more accurate. Basically, your dive computer and these dive tables work on the same algorithm, on the same principles. Okay, right. So are we all happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So what we'll do is I'll give you a couple of spares, just a couple of practices. So we're going to do 18. Hold on, let's draw. Hold on. Okay. Let's do this properly. Let's go. Boom. Oh. My lines aren't particularly straight, but hey. It's what happens when you're trying to draw with a trackpad. There you go. Okay, so you're going to do 2 dives, or you're going to do 2 dives. First dive is to 18 meters for 30 minutes. And then the second dive is to 18 meters for 20 minutes. All right. So, oh, hold on, I can give you a surface time. Hour on the surface. Come on. There we go. 1 hour. Okay.
And 3-minute safety stops as well?
Yep, 3-minute safety stops. We should always do safety stops. Right, should we go through it? We all good?
Yep.
Definitely want to go through it.
Yeah, cool. Right, okay. So, 18 meters for 30 minutes at the bottom with a 3-minute safety stop is 18 meters for 33, which should give you, because we're rounding up, an M. Yes? Yeah. Right, so we've got 1 minute on the surface.
Hour.
1 hour. That would have been confusing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
1 hour. He says, trying to read it.
D.
Yeah, D.
Yep. That's what I got.
D, right, so it's now, we're going to 18 meters for 20 minutes with 3 minutes safety stop. So our actual bottom time is 23. Our residual, so as we're in a D and we're going to 18 meters.
16.
Yep, 16. Gives us a total of 39.
Yep.
39 for 18 meters, or 18 meters for 39. Spot on, that's an O. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody happy with that?
Yep.
All right, so we'll do one more just to make sure.
Yeah, I just did my math wrong, so I was 1 number off.
Right, one little tip you can do is on your tables, because it can be difficult. Actually, hold on. So I can see, right. On your tables, get a piece of paper, and then you can line it up. Hold on, let me lift it up. Line it up with the row you want, and then the corner goes down to the time. That helps you find, or stops you going offline. I do find it helps people. Okay, so because sometimes with all these numbers, especially on table 2, it's quite easy to start from here and then end up just sliding over a little bit, so as you get the wrong letter. All right. Okay. So, guys, what sort of dives do we want to do? How deep do we want to go for the first one?
22.
22, all right. And how long are we going to spend down at 22? Oh,
18.
no, that's just 3. Still rubber. Here we go. Oh. Draw. I'm going to 22. And do we have a time? Anyone?
18.
18 minutes. Down there for 18 minutes. I'm going to have a 3-minute safety stop. How long on the surface interval? Cup of tea? Full cylinders?
45 minutes.
Half an hour, 30 minutes. All right. Next one. I thought we'll do the same dive again because first dive was such a good dive. We're going to do the same dive again. So it's 22 for 18 minutes. A 3-minute safety stop. Okay. Right, let me know when you're done. Guys, first dive, 22 meters for 21 minutes. 21. What did everybody get?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah.
Aye.
All right. Well, where's my? There it is. Aye. All right. 30-minute surface interval from an I. We'll give you
E.
E. Yep. Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Our actual bottom time is 21 again. And our residual bottom time, 22 and an E, is what?
15.
15, yep. Right. Come on, work. So that gives us 36. So it's 22 for 36.
That's a 7 R.
All right, okay, so that gives us an R. Now, if you notice on your tables, hold on, I can't see if you can. No. If you notice on your tables, that R puts us in those grey hashy bits.
Yep.
Okay, so that means that there is a safety stop required. You've got close enough to one of your limits that you do need to do that 3-minute safety stop. At any other time we're diving, it's recommended that we do our safety stop, those 3 minutes, but we can come straight to the surface. We don't have to do that. It's recommended that we do that, and it's good practice to do that, but we don't have to. If we get into these grey hash areas, we have to do that 3-minute safety stop, unless it's an emergency. Obviously, if it's an emergency, we can still come to the surface. But that grey hash shows that we're so close to our limits that it is required, except in an emergency, to do a safety stop. Obviously, that these tables are designed for use of people who are old overweight, or young, super fit, or diving in cold water or diving in warm water. So it covers a whole area. So there is a lot of conservative tables are very conservative anyway, but this just gives us that extra little step, just that extra little bit of caution by diving in that. Now, obviously, the black bits at the bottom, they are your no decompression limits. This is the point where I would normally say, well, turn over and read those bits that are in German. But yeah, I'll obviously have to send you more. Right, so basically that bit that's written down there are your special rules, and it does cover things about if you exceed your no decompression limits, the numbers in black. So as if you go further beyond them. Just out of curiosity, does anybody know what we should do if we go, say, 2 minutes over a safety stop?
Does it stay out for a minimum of 3 hours?
Shouldn't you have 8 minutes at 5 meters?
That's it. Right, so we do a emergency safety stop. So instead of just doing a safety stop, we do an emergency 8 minutes at 5 meters. All our safety stops are at the same depth. Now the 3 hours, I'm not sure what the 3 hours is, but yeah, if we go over so 5 minutes, we have to spend more time doing our safety stop and not dive for 24 hours after. So it's
Mine's in English here. I must download a different one. And yeah, it says 8 minute decompression stop at 5 meters is mandatory. Upon servicing, the diver must remain out of the water for at least 6 hours prior to making another dive.
There we go. Right, and then if you're for the next bit.
If a no decompression limit is exceeded by more than 5 minutes, a 5 minute decompression stop of no less than 15 minutes is urged, air supply permitting. Upon surfacing, the diver must remain out of the water for at least 24 hours prior to making another dive.
There we go. Okay. So, yeah. So they're the no decompression limits, and those are the rules. I'll see if I can find some that are in English and send them over to you.
I was trying to find a card, but people are charging a lot for just the card.
Yeah, because they're rare now, because we don't tend to use them. When I was doing my dive master course years and years and years ago, there was we didn't have the RDPs. We had tables, and we had what are they called? I can't remember, but they were similar to the tables, but they had a couple of dials on them. They were designed to do multi-level, so you could do like a dive, and you could measure it as like spend a bit of time at 6 meters, spend a bit of time at 10 meters, a bit of time at 15 meters, and so on. But yeah, had exactly the same thing because they were quite rare. Nobody was using them apart from people on their dive master course. I can remember having to pay, I think it was around about 20 quid for mine. And if you think this was like 16 years ago, so as it was, considering it's just a few bits of plastic, it was rather expensive. But yeah. Right, okay, so going back to the tables, I'll tell you what, we had two great dives. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a third dive.
Same day, okay.
Yeah, might as well. But we're going to spend 3 hours on the surface because we're going to go for lunch.
Hopefully someplace you don't have to social distance.
Sorry?
Hopefully we go to lunch someplace you don't have to social distance.
And we're going to take it nice and easy. We're just going to do a 12-meter bumble for 40 minutes. Okay. Yep.
I did it 3 times, but I'm so confused. But yeah, I think so.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so 3 hours out of the water. That puts us in what pressure group?
A.
A. See, I picked 3 hours for a reason. If you stay out of water for 3 hours, usually you're going to end up back in a pressure group A. If you stay out of water for 6 hours, you're definitely going to end up in a pressure group A. Okay, but that makes it much easier. So pressure group A at 12 meters. 12 is a 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in which case it's a 52.
L.
52, 12, 52. Oh, yeah, because we round up to a 53, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Well, I got J because 40 and 3 make 43, so I rounded up to 45. So I went to J.
Right, did you do the rat?
Oh, no, because I was looking at it. Oh, we're at A, so I started at 0 again.
No, we all. So it's the only time we don't write the rat is on the first dive of the day. If we do
Okay,
any more, we always write the rat. Okay?
got it.
All right. What we'll do is we'll call it a day there.